Huh? I'm fine. Thanks.
Oh, okay then. We just noticed that you seem to...
About many things, actually. But there's nothing. I was just reminiscing about a place my brother and I would play when we were kids.
You're pointing at the sea. Wait, are you saying...
No, people call the waters around Fontaine a sea. It's actually just an inland lake that's filled with fresh... And no, I can still see that hill clearly in my memories. He would skip and jump, tossing sand in the wind. But now, the water is gradually swallowing our memories. It won't be long before...
sorry.
I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting. Are you Lynette's new friends?
Oh, and...
Thanks for looking after my sister. She often comes here to reminisce about our... allow me to introduce myself. I'm Linny, and this is my sister Lynette. If I had to guess, I'd say you must be travelers from abroad.
Nice to meet you. Paimon is Paimon, and this is the traveler. We were just talking with your sister.
I see. It's unusual for Lynette to be...
Oh, really? Then you two are just like us. Paimon's always the one talking for some reason. So that's how you think it is?
I also think my brother can be too talkative at times.
Seems you were right, Paimon. We are quite...
So, what did Lynette mean just now when she said that the water is engulfing your...
Oh, that. It's from a prophecy that's been circulating in... Well, I suppose prophecy isn't exactly the right word, because that implies a certain amount of uncertainty. There's no doubt about what's happening in Fontaine now. Where to begin? Let's put that question on hold for a moment. We still haven't formally...
Did all the introductions earlier not count?
Hello, traveler. And hello, Paimon.
Hey! Why didn't Paimon get a handshake?
Please, don't take offense. Just consider it a sort of etiquette we have here in...
Oh! All right, then. Well, by the way, we were just getting ready to go to the Opera House to meet the Hydro Archon. Would you be...
So you're going to see Lady Farina? No problem at all. In fact, I was planning to go to the Opera House later myself. I'll glad... Please, follow me. You said you were going to see Lady Farina? Well, it seemed...
So, she's the Hydro Archon? But...
My dear people, rich and poor, those with cup in hand and those with nothing at all, raise your glasses in celebration. If you don't have one, then just raise your hand in lieu. As you can all see, two unfamiliar travelers have arrived in our nation. Come, let us make a toast in honor of this traveler and his companion who have journeyed here from distant lands.
Is she talking about us?
I've long heard of the turmoil and chaos you've left in your wake as you visited other nations. But fear is for insignificant cowards. I am a god, and I will never entertain the notion of such meaningless wariness. You can be rest assured. Of course, seeking an audience with me is the most sensible thing to do. It will allow you to... Focalor, hereby welcome you to the nation of Hydro and acknowledge the value and significance of your trip. Now, you may rejoice in this.
Yeah, Paimon still can't believe it. Feels like we've only been here for a few minutes. But the Hydro Archon's entrance was, how should Paimon describe it? Miss Hydro Archon?
I see. As Outlanders, you inevitably lack even some of the most basic understanding. Don't forget that you had best stop and consider. Do you really have the noble qualities and etiquette necessary to communicate with a god? All it takes is a flick of my finger for me.
Whoa, talk about sounding high and mighty.
Oh? What's with these looks? Perhaps the welcoming ceremony still...
Wow, I didn't expect to see Lady Farina here. What a surprise! Wait, does this mean they're the legendary blonde traveler? How did I not notice before?
Hey, what's all the commotion? Oh, is that Lady Farina? Is there some kind
Of course! That's the blonde traveler, the one all those stories are about. Lady Farina came here to personally see him.
Ooh, I've got to see this. I knew Lady Farina would never disappoint.
Yes, but don't get too excited now. My dear believers and spectators alike tend to get quite rowdy. And despite the note, you may consider this my reward to all of you. I have determined that there will be an epic duel between myself and this traveler from another land, just as you were hoping to see.
Now she wants to fight? Aren't we getting a little ahead of ourselves?
Are you not afraid?
What are you trying to do, traveler? Provoking a god in front of her people?
Stand down, Clorend. I admire his bravery. Few have the courage to draw their sword against a god. He is obviously a true warrior. Unfortunately, people nowadays only crave to be thrilled, and a mere duel will not slake their thirst for excitement.
Yeah, she's right. Just a duel wouldn't be all that interesting.
On Araneus, criminals are always requesting duels to defend their honor. They're getting a bit old.
You see. Then, as the god of justice,
All right! Now that'll be worth seeing!
Right. This is Fontaine, after all. Such a grand opera house, it would be a pity not to use it.
Why do you care so much about the crowd's reactions? Seems you've spent a little too much time in the opera house. Besides, how exactly do you plan to have a duel in court? You mean you're going to put us on trial?
oh, we have reason to put you on trial. It's obvious, isn't it? According to Fontaine law, no one is permitted to release any flying objects within Fontaine city limits during the first 3 days of each month. You are clearly guilty of violating this law, no?
Oh, so that's what they've done wrong.
You You call that obvious? What kind of law is that? Wait, flying object? You mean Paimon?
Precisely! Now, if you two have no objections, then in the name of the Hydro Archon, I order your arrest.
My apologies, Lady Farina. I don't mean to spoil the fun, but if you would allow me to interject, I don't think that Paimon here meets the definition of a flying object.
You tell her, Linny! Finally someone who's not crazy. How could anyone call Paimon a flying object?
Great magician, Linny. My...
As a magician who just rained on your parade, I naturally should shoulder the responsibility of saving the show. So, with such an audience gathered here, allow me to perform a trick for everyone.
Ta-da!
What's that on Paimon's back? Hey, when did Linny do that?
There. As you can all clearly see, Paimon should be classified as, well, something like a balloon. This rope...
You call that magic? You've got to be joking.
I thought it was pretty good. Nice one.
I'm not sure what to think. It seems Lady Farina's charges no longer hold water.
Amusing. Very amusing, Linny. Just the sort of unexpected twist that I enjoy. With you here, today's performance can finally be called complete.
Performance? You see all this as a performance?
In which case, consider the matter of your trial resolved. The god of justice will not bring charges against an innocent person. But when there are valid grounds, I will not only judge travelers from abroad, but even the gods of other lands. I look forward to seeing your upcoming performance at the Opera House, Mr. Linny and Miss Lynette. That's enough for now. Toodaloo!
And just like that, she's gone. Well, that's the most unpredictable Archon Paimon's ever seen. I never even had a chance to ask her anything. But that's a problem for future Paimon. That whole scene just now...
Don't mention it. I just happened to remember that there was such a law, so I did a little preparation, just in case. I didn't think it would actually come in handy. So, now do you see what kind of god Lady Farina is?
She can be a bit confusing at times, but she is still amenable to reason.
Anyway, Paimon had no idea you were a magician, Linny. It sounded like you'll be performing at the Opera House, right?
I just know a few simple tricks I use to make a living. Lynette is my assistant. It will actually be my first time performing on the most prestigious stage in Fontaine, the Opera House.
But isn't the Opera House where criminal trials are held in Fontaine?
When there are no public trials being held, the Opera House hosts a variety of other performances. To the people of Fontaine, the line between a trial and a performance can be a little blurred. And speaking of performances, I would be remiss to forego this opportunity gifted by fate. Might I invite the two of you to see my performance?
My brother's always excited to make new friends.
Oh, sure. We don't really have anything to do now, and we wanted to go to the Opera House anyway.
Splendid. In that case, why don't we go together? I'll show you the way. I just have something to take care of first. Oh, you really mean it? This is a magical item known as a magic pocket. Perhaps you can help me distribute them to the people here.
Huh? What are they going to use it for?
About that... You asked me before about the prophecy, right? Let me start by telling you a little more about what it entails. I'm not sure exactly when it began, but a prophecy has been circulating around Fontaine. It says that every person in Fontaine is born with sin. No matter how the nation of justice holds trial after trial, this sin cannot be absolved. Until one day, the water levels in Fontaine will rise, and the sinful people will slowly be drowned. In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
That sounds pretty gloomy. Why are people in Fontaine born with sin? What is that supposed to mean?
There are lots of guesses. Some say that the ancestors of Fontaine stole the power of the seas and stirred its wrath. Others say that the people of Fontaine never heeded the first Hydro Archon's warnings and offended Celestia. But here in Fontaine, evidence is what matters. There hasn't been concrete evidence for any of these claims, so they can only be regarded as conjecture.
If even the people in Fontaine don't know what sin they committed, wouldn't it be better just to ignore the prophecy completely? Why bother feeling guilty all the time?
That's exactly what the people did at first. But in the last few years, the water levels in Fontaine have actually started rising.
Many places have already been completely submerged, and now lie beneath the sea.
Many people carry on with their lives as before and shrug it off as a natural phenomenon. But my family and I think that the people of Fontaine shouldn't ignore the possibility, which would end up sentencing them to death. We hope that at least the people who reside near the waterfront can move away before it's too late. So, we've started distributing magic pockets to them. As a magical item, these magic pockets have astonishing capacity. I'm sure they will come in handy when people are moving their belongings.
Oh, Paimon gets it! It's like preparing for a rainy day! But this is more than a bit of rain.
Perhaps only absolute power could ever contend with such a catastrophe. But who knows? We're just tiny specks in the grand scheme of things. Now, if you'd like to help, then please give these magic pockets to anyone nearby. Be sure to convince them to take it, regardless of what they say.
So you're the blonde traveler that everyone's been talking about. Oh, a magic pocket? Seems you really thought of everything. I guess it's better to prepare. Thanks. Please, also thank the magician on my behalf when you get the chance.
What's this? So you also believe in the prophecy. Keep it. I won't have any use for it.
What? You mean you don't believe in the prophecy?
No, I believe in the prophecy. But I also believe in another story. The story says that people once lived in the ocean. They were one. As time wore on, people desired to live on land and developed blood vessels, encapsulating the sea within. So, if you ask me, When the water rises and takes us...
Oh, we hadn't heard that one before. But people can't live underwater. They'll die. You should probably still take it.
All right, I'll take it. I guess I just feel that being dissolved into the water doesn't necessarily mean death.
Huh? I don't want that thing. Way I see it, if the prophecy's true, it's still gonna be a long time before the water can cover everything. Life is all about living in the moment. What use is there in worrying about the future all the time? We'll cross that bridge.
You should still take it. You never know when it'll come in handy.
Oh, all right, fine. Thanks. It's just that...
Oh, you already handed out all of the magic pockets? That was fast. So, what did people have to say? Yes, but that will change once disaster strikes. I know they'll change their minds, so it's only right to help them prepare.
Is there anything else you need to do before we leave?
Yes, one last thing. I have the magic pockets made by a workshop in the court of Fontaine. Since we're out and about, I was thinking about bringing him some more material.
So, you want to collect materials? Just tell us what the materials look like.
Oh, that would be much appreciated. We'll need some romaritime flowers. I remember seeing them near the waterfront.
It seems we have to use Hydro to collect romaritime flowers.
It is as the stars foretold.
You made quick work of that. I can tell you're an experienced traveler. I've also finished collecting a few. Maybe next time you'll feel like helping too.
No way. I'm in power-saving mode today. Otherwise, I fear I may not have any energy left for the performance at the Opera House.
Fine. Though the performance is still a long way off. Now that we're finished here, we should get ready to head back to the court of Fontaine.
So, we're going to the court of Fontaine before we head to the Opera House? Good.
Wait, shh. Have you noticed that person over there? The young girl.
Huh? What's wrong with her? Paimon didn't know.
She's obviously... Magicians and thieves practice similar methods. We divert attention, and a distracted audience is one that won't discover what you're really doing. Watch her movements carefully.
Oh, he's right!
Shh, keep your voice down. We need to think of a way to catch her, but it seems she's very alert. Perhaps we should split up. You two can ride the lift over there and wait up top. I bet that'll be her escape route if she tries to run. All right, let's go.
chase her? You're right. She might also be trying to lure us away. Nothing's happened for a while now. Paimon wonders if Lenny caught the thief. Yeah, let's go.
Are you sure that's all she took? You should check to make sure you're not missing anything.
No, that was all. Oh, I can't thank you enough. I didn't notice a thing earlier. Anyway, I should be going.
Oh, were you returning what the thief had stolen?
That's right. Pity I wasn't able to catch her. She distracted me by dropping the thing she stole on the ground. By the time I looked back, she was already gone.
I saw the general direction she went, but Lenny twisted his ankle, and I needed to make sure he was okay.
Oh, did you get hurt?
I'll be all right. It's just a twisted ankle, that's all. In fact,
If you want to play at being a hero, at least try not to get hurt doing it. Imagine what would happen if you managed to derail our performance as a result.
you're right. Sorry, Lynette. I have to admit that the thief was even more skilled than I had anticipated. But at least we were able to get the stolen items back, so it wasn't a complete failure.
What a slippery little thief. Guess things turned out all right in the end, though. Lenny's initiative paid off.
All right, let's put this little detour behind us. We should go to the court of Fontaine now.
So, we ride this thing to go into the city? What an ingenious way to get around. People in Fontaine really know how to use water.
This is an aquabus. It allows people to travel between several key locations around Fontaine. It's pretty convenient, but the ride can become a little dull after a while. The scenery is always...
So you mean it's still boring, even when I'm...
No, that's not what I meant. It's just that, well, you don't really talk that much. Besides, it doesn't really feel like a real trip when it's just the two of us. It's the same as being at home.
Whatever.
Guess that's what it's like to be an older brother.
It's about time for us to leave. Let's get on board.
Oh, excuse me. Aren't you the great magician, Lenny? And is this...
Hello. I don't believe we've...
I'm Charlotte, a reporter for the Steambird.
Nice to meet you. From the Steambird, huh? We've often relied on your paper to promote our performances.
It's an honor to meet you.
Wait, could that be the legendary traveler who's been making headline after headline in their journey across Tibet?
Amazing. You recognize everybody almost immediately.
I wouldn't be much of a reporter if I didn't know who's who, would I? Wow, today must be my day. Who knew I would end up on the same boat as so many VIPs? Could my vision finally be showing me some favor?
So, Charlotte, what do you usually report on?
Well, when there isn't any breaking news, I mainly cover the trials at the Opera House. You can still manage to keep readers' attention as long as you tell things from a clever enough angle, even if it's the same old topics. For example, reporting on how a scammer once deceived vulnerable girls into relationships, or how a financial criminal was once so poor that they ate a single piece of bread for 5 days. That's fine and all, but what I'm really after is exclusive, sensational news pieces that could shake the country. Oh, I just remembered.
I've been following a case lately. Well, a series of cases, actually. You mean the serial disappearances of young women case? That's right! These stories are the talk of the town right now, and it's probably the most mysterious. If I'm the first with a draft ready to publish when the case is finally cracked, and it's the headline story in the Oh! When that happens, I bet all the other reporters will shed tears of envy. I've already gathered all kinds of materials. I just can't wait for the truth to be revealed.
So, what is the serial disappearances of young women case? You mean the culprit hasn't been found?
That's right. The first missing girl case happened almost 20 years ago. And ever since, after a period of time, another girl disappears. What the cases have in common is that but the scariest part is that to this day, none of the girls have ever been found. Many suspects have been arrested over the years in connection with this case, but shortly after each arrest, another disappearance would always happen. Yes, it's possible. But either way, I believe that every case has some precise truth behind it.
Yes, I agree. And at the very least, the family of those missing girls deserves some sort of explanation. I just imagined for a second what I would do if Lynette were to suddenly disappear. I'd pay any price to get her back, and then find a way to track down the culprit.
Please don't imagine that, Linny.
Hey, we're almost there! Look!
Well, I really enjoyed chatting with you. Life should be full of pleasant little surprises like this.
Yeah, us as well. The ride went by too quickly.
I have an interview to get to. I should get going before I'm late.
Okay, Hyman hopes we can chat again soon, Charlotte. See ya!
Bye now. Oh, be sure to stop by and see me at the Steambird when you have time.
What a tough job. Always running around and interviewing
If you don't mind, how about we stop by my home first? Besides,
Sure, we wouldn't mind at all. This city is so huge.
No way. I'm not guessing.
this is our current abode. Ah, Fremine, you're home. Where did everyone else go? I have some new friends that I would like to introduce.
Oh, they all just went out a moment ago.
I see. Everyone is getting busier now that Father will be returning soon. I suppose that can't be helped. Allow me to introduce you to my little brother, Fremine. He is a phenomenal diver.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler. Oh, you sound very proud to have a diver as a brother, Linny.
Linny, could you come here for a moment?
What is it, Fremine? Do you have something to tell me? Okay, I see.
Is everything all right?
Oh, it's nothing. We were just discussing a little housework. Sorry for the interruption. Oh, before I forget, the Traveler and I collected more materials to make magic pockets. Were you able to get any, Fremine?
Yes, I went diving and gathered lots of materials. I was about to give them to you.
That's our Fremine, always quick with the underwater work. All right, I'll take these to the workshop.
Looks like rain.
Oh, you're right. But wasn't it clear and sunny just a moment ago? Fontaine's weather sure is weird.
I'm afraid that's just how it is here. It often rains on days where there are trials being held in the Opera House, but...
What's wrong, Fremine?
There's a legend about the rain that I tend to believe. It's said that a dragon of water once resided in Fontaine. Though when I was a child, my mother told me that if I wanted to go outside and play, I should yell toward the sky at the top of my lungs. Hydro Dragon! Hydro Dragon! Don't cry!
If it's an elemental dragon, then having the power to make it rain wouldn't be very unusual. Let Paimon try something. Hydro Dragon, don't cry!
Doesn't seem to be of any use. It is just a legend after all.
You know, you might be a more popular magician if you understood the concept of romanticism. Or could at least play along.
Sorry, it might be because we've never met the Hydro Dragon. Perhaps it can't be comforted by the words of strict. It rained for longer than I suspected.
Was there something you needed to do, Linny?
Yeah, some preparations for the show at the Opera House. I need to find a way to catch the last aquabus of the day. On the day of the performance, just ride the aquabus to the island of Araneus. I'll have Lynette meet you at the fountain in front of the Opera House.
Oh, are you leaving now?
What is it, Fremine? I'm in a hurry. Oh, I get it. You feel nervous. Perhaps we could trouble the Traveler to help us take these materials to the Beaumont workshop and deliver them to the owner there? I'm afraid that Fremine can be quite introverted, and the boss there tends to be pretty talkative. Fremine has always been a...
No trouble at all! Don't worry, we're on the case!
Sorry for the inconvenience. I'm quite useless when it comes to such tasks.
Oh, no need! This'll be a walk in the park for us!
hello there. New customers? Looking to buy, or do you need something made? Or perhaps you're just looking for a chat with me.
Oh no, we're just here to deliver some materials. Here they are. They're for making...
Ah, these must be for magic pockets. I could tell. No need. They've already prepaid several batches worth. When they told me what they'd be using them for, I even offered them a discount. But they insisted on paying the full amount, saying that I had a business to run. It seems both their hearts and their pockets are made of gold.
Whoa. So, is Linny actually loaded?
I can't say for sure, but who knows? Maybe there's good money to be made being a magician in Fontaine.
Hey! Is this machine what you use to make stuff here? It looks really advanced.
Why use your hands when a machine can do the work? It would be a waste not to use the latest technology, and wasting is a kind of crime.
But where does a big machine like that get its power from?
Well, it's a little complicated. I'm not sure I can put it in layman's terms for you, but basically, everything we usually use here in the city is powered by indemnitium. It's a type of energy that's produced from trials.
Huh? How can trials produce energy?
Well, I'm not completely sure of all the details myself, but basically, when a trial is in session, the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale harvests people's belief in justice and converts it into energy to be used all around Fontaine.
So that's what its other function is? Paimon heard that the Oratrice was created by the Archon to make judgments. But Paimon still doesn't get it. How could something unreliable like people's beliefs be turned into a stable power source for these machines? Oh, yeah! So that means the Hydro Archon relies on the machine to take the energy created by belief and turn it into power for all of Fontaine, right?
Even though I've never heard anyone really put it that way before, it sounds like it Besides indemnitium, we have another type of energy called pneumosia. It isn't produced by the power of the Archon, but it is unstable by nature. Even now, it still cannot be widely used by civilians.
I thought I'd find you hard at work, but here you are chatting the day away. Since you're all...
You again? Didn't I already promise you that I'd have the more I owe to Confrérie of Cabriere by next month? Why are you hounding me now?
Yeah, but how do we know that you won't go running off by the end of this month? I want 50% today. Wait, no, 70%.
Huh? You...
Seems business isn't so great for the workshop. We've already finished our job and delivered the materials. Maybe now...
Hey, hold on. Before you go around trying to collect payments, why don't you settle your own debts first? If Confrérie of Cabriere wants to poach clients from Northland Bank, that's fine. But I'm afraid you still owe the bank a hefty sum of mora.
You're from Northland Bank. But we said...
Traveler, Paimon! I didn't think I'd run into you here in Fontaine. What are the chances?
We're surprised to see you too! What are you doing here in Fontaine? You didn't want to stay in Snezhnaya?
Long story short, I've already been in Fontaine for some time now. And honestly, things have been... But it seems that fate brought our paths together today. Not only will I have some good friends here now, but ones who always seem to find trouble. Either way you look at it, it seems things are going to get a lot more interesting now.
Pretty sure we'd want to avoid anything that you'd find interesting. Besides, our trip here has gone pretty well so far. Right, Traveler?
Hey, you, Northland Bank boy. Aren't you forgetting something?
Don't interrupt. It's not often I run into the Traveler like this. Why don't you wait for me over there for a while?
You kidding? Aren't you the one looking for us? You really expect us to sit and twiddle our thumbs while you catch up with your friends? Listen to me, boy. If you want your mora, fine. Why don't you come and take it?
Hey, I just said not to interrupt. Oh, by the way, Traveler, the last time I took Tonya and Tusser ice fishing, Tusser's...
Hey! That's way over the line! All right, boys, let's see who has to pay up now!
Can you at least let me finish one sentence? Fine. Though the bank told me not to get rough with our clients, you're the ones who started it. This is an act of self-defense. You two will have to be my witnesses, okay?
I'm sure this won't take long.
Riptide! No time to lose.
What's your deal, Brad? How are you so strong if you're just a staffer from Snezhnaya's Northland Bank?
Oh, now you notice. It's a little late, don't you think? Just make sure you understand that you don't mess with Northland Bank. Got it? Huh?
Now's my chance!
Huh. That was weird. I'm not sure. It's as if I suddenly lost control of my hydro powers when I needed them. Maybe there's something wrong with my vision?
Strange. How could that happen? First time Paimon's ever heard of someone losing control of their vision.
Never mind. It doesn't matter. If I want to stay sharp, I shouldn't be relying too much on my vision anyway. Besides, I always have my delusion in case I need it.
So what are you doing in Fontaine, child? And don't say it's work for Northland Bank.
Well, I guess it's because I've been in a bad mood lately.
Huh? What kind of reason is that? Wait, since when do you feel down about anything?
I don't know. Maybe I still have a lot to learn about myself. But recently, there seems to be some sort of restless power stirring inside of me. And I don't know why, but every now and then I feel like I'm in a terrible mood.
Maybe you losing control of your vision just now is connected with that power you're feeling inside.
That is a possibility. I can't remember if I ever mentioned it before, but when I was 14, I fell into some unknown abyss. It was during that time I learned nearly all of my abilities. The one who took me under her wing and taught me was named Skirk. She was always quiet and very mysterious. Nobody knew where she came from or what she had been through, and one time, I asked her why she was willing to take me on as an apprentice. Because I had awakened it, and traces of it remained on me. She said that all my combat training would be useful in the future.
But what is it?
She never explained that. But my guess is that it's related to a dream I saw when I had just fallen into that abyss. In my dream, I was in the deepest depths of the sea, and the boundless seabed was all around me. But in front of me appeared a whale that was so massive, I felt like I couldn't breathe.
A whale? Oh, that sounds familiar! When we fought against you before, you summoned a huge whale that seemed to leap at us. Is that the one?
That's just an abstract form of a whale that I create using my elemental powers. It takes that shape because the scene I dreamt of the whale has always been stuck in my mind. I'll never forget it.
So you used the whale as inspiration for one of your moves? Huh. Seems a little twisted to Paimon. So why don't you just go ask your master? Maybe she knows the answer.
You make it sound so easy. Ever since the incident I experienced there, I've never stopped searching for Master Skirk and that unknown abyss. But it's been years now, and I've still found nothing. There isn't even a trace of the place where I remember falling into the abyss.
Oh, it sounds like some kind of ghost story.
Yeah, I'm out of leads at this point, but there's nothing more I can do. It seems the time really flies when I'm talking with you. I just remembered I have somewhere else I need to be, so I should get going.
What? More work for the Northland Bank?
And no, it's more of a personal appointment. Lately, I've been sparring with some of Fontaine's official champion duelists whenever I'm feeling bored.
Official champion duelist?
Yep, in Fontaine before a criminal goes to court. they're given one chance to defend their honor by requesting a duel with an official champion duelist. The champion duelists are all-powerful fighters selected from among the nation's best. And the duel itself is a no-holds-barred fight with no specified stopping point. So engaging in such a duel is regarded as a symbol of defending your honor. If a criminal manages to win the duel, they'll be acquitted. But if they lose, they'll have no choice but to stand trial. And the worst-case scenario is that you're simply killed in the duel. Though it's rumored that Fontaine has a death penalty, from what I can tell, no one has ever been officially sentenced to death. So really, the only people who opt to duel are those who have suffered a grave injustice in being accused, or those who...
So, do many people actually get out of their trials by winning the duel?
Apparently, it's exceedingly rare for anyone to actually win. Fontaine probably enacted this system as a way to show that the nation respects the honor of its citizens. Besides, none of the champion duelists are to be trifled with, which is exactly why I was itching to face them as soon as I got to Fontaine. Apparently, the one I'm meeting today, Clorinde, is the strongest of the champion duelists. I had been asking her for some time before she...
Well, that's child for ya. Paimon feels like we heard that name somewhere before.
Oh, before I forget, I want you to have this.
Huh? Your vision?
I'm just worried that it could become uncontrollable again. I'd be pretty upset if it got in the way of my duel. So, besides, I just need you to hold on to it for a short while.
Paimon knows what you're up to. You just want an excuse to come talk to us again, don't you?
Whatever gave you that idea?
That sneaky guy. He said he's been feeling down lately, but he seemed the same. Well, since we don't have much to do for now, we might as well walk around and see the city before Lenny's performance. Wow! Who could have seen that coming? The reporter who was barely around for most of the story was the murderer all along! Sorry. Paimon was just surprised. The whodunits here in Fontaine are a lot different than the light novels you see from Yai Publishing House. It's so exciting to reach the moment when the mystery is uncovered, especially in the one Paimon was just reading. You should... Oh, sorry about that. Paimon will be more careful next time. Hey, shouldn't we be heading to the Opera House to see Linny's performance soon? It's almost time for the show to start, so we should get going. Lenny said that the Opera House is on Aranias, so let's go ride the Aquabus!
Fontaine. Please, watch your step.
place to hold a performance, huh? Looks like there's a lot of people standing around the fountain up ahead.
Oh, Archon, please bless us with a bright and healthy child. We pray.
I don't know why you always feel the need to ask so much. I'll be happy as long as our child is healthy and lives a peaceful life.
I guess if they're our kid, then there's no doubt they'll turn out smart.
Maybe this is one of the customs in Fontaine.
Vache.
What's wrong?
Vache. Vache.
No, Paimon didn't say anything.
Welcome to the Fountain of Lucine. All the water flowing through Fontaine converges here. It's customary for newlyweds to come here and wish for children.
Lynette! You scared Paimon! When did you get here?
When he asked me to wait here for you, remember?
Right.
What do you mean? There are a lot of people here right now.
Hey, you're not trying to scare Paimon, are you? Besides, it's the middle of the day. It's not...
I see. I might be able to tell you something that could help explain the voice you heard. In fact, you might not be imagining things at all. I suspect that what you heard is a result of your hypersensitivity to the hydro element. Others...
It's because of his sensitivity to the hydro element? But what would hearing a voice have to do with elemental power?
When do you cry, Paimon?
Wait, what? What does that have to do with anything?
Just answer me. When do you cry?
When Paimon's really sad? Oh, and when Paimon's super happy. Oh, and also when Paimon's really, really scared.
Then you should understand that tears contain your most intense emotions. Like I just mentioned, the Fountain of Lucine is where all the flowing water in Fontaine converges. Even so, maybe what you heard was the intense emotion coming from someone's tears.
So, what did the voice say? Huh. If you were hearing their emotions, then Paimon wonders what happened to them.
Rather than worrying about them, we should worry about my brother first. Don't let that calm look of his fool you. He tends to get pretty nervous just before a performance. So check.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
Don't blink! Hey!
Traveler and Paimon, good to see you. I knew you two would come.
Are you kidding? We wouldn't miss it for the world. We've been looking forward.
I can tell, but you're actually right on time. The audience still hasn't started entering the venue yet, which means now... The Opera House has assigned seating, so you always have to make reservations. I've already reserved your...
Ooh, front row seat?
Don't mention it. There's no need to keep thanking me.
Hey, Lenny! Could you come over here and take a look at this?
Oh, I'll be right there. Seems there's an issue with the stage props over there. That's Cal, my assistant, calling me. I'll go lend him a hand.
Yeah, we'll just go to our seats.
Excuse me, I did not realize you felt awkward. I am terribly sorry. I would be perfectly happy to chat with you if that is what you would like.
Oh, so you heard all of that? Wait, that's not it, Paimon's. Sorry. Oh, Paimon's got it. You're also here early and sitting in the front.
A friend, you say? Well, if Mr. Linney would like to be my friend, I would be more than happy to reciprocate.
Oh, so you're not friends with Linney then? Oh, this is getting more awkward by the second. Paimon nearly forgot to make her introduction. Nice to meet you. Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler. We just arrived in Fontaine.
It is an honor to meet you two. I have heard of your deeds across Tevat, and as required by proper etiquette, I will also introduce myself.
Oh, Monsieur Nervillet, what an honor it is to have you here to see my show.
Ah, Mr. Linney. I should say it is in fact an honor for me to see your performance in person.
Wait, Nervillet? Could he be...
I saw you all chatting just now, but it seems you still don't know who Monsieur Nervillet is. Allow me to introduce you to Fontaine's Chief Justice. That seat is always reserved for him. It wouldn't be too much to say that he's the symbol of justice and honesty here in Fontaine.
Ooh, sorry for being so rude just now. Paimon had no idea you were such an important person.
No offense taken. Being Chief Justice is merely what I do for work. Nearly every person has their usual reserved seat, so I'm not so special, really. And by the way, I should probably let you know, even though I would prefer not to, there's someone sitting up there in the VIP seats that has been striking a pose for quite a while now. I believe she is trying to give you a most elegant and impressive first impression. So I think you should take notice of her sooner rather than later. Otherwise, she may become flustered.
Huh? Oh, it's Farina, the Hydro Archon. Huh. She sure has a smug and satisfied look on her face. Guess she has no idea that you saw right through her act.
Very good. That is for the best. No need to pay her any more attention. We may now enjoy the show.
Huh? So is this what things are like between the Chief Justice and the Hydro Archon?
All right, please wait just a moment longer. I've pretty much finished my preparations, and the performance will start as soon as the audience has made their way to their seats.
Yay! The show's finally about to start! Paimon can hardly wait! Oh, they're dimming the lights! The show must be starting! Sorry. Paimon will...
Welcome, one and all, to the Opera Epiclese. I am the star of today's show, Linny. And over here is my sister, Lynette, who will be working as my wonderful assistant. Please, let's give her a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone.
I know she may seem to be a little sleepy right now, but that's just a sign that she's nervous.
Whatever.
Now, some of you may be thinking, two vision holders who can freely manipulate elemental powers performing magic is not true magic at all. So, I would like to take a moment to assure you that elemental powers will have nothing to do with what you will witness on the stage today. Both Lynette and myself have removed our visions for the show. That way, even the gods won't be able to help us.
Oh, good point. That's what makes the show real magic.
Now, without further ado, let the show begin. Lynette will now exit the stage to make some preparations. I know you might miss her, but don't worry. She'll be coming right back on stage momentarily. Perhaps in an unexpected way. I'm sure she'll be stealing the spotlight soon enough. Oh, and before I forget, there's one more thing I should say. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. A magician's greatest skill is making things disappear or appear. The possibilities are endless. But this isn't what you came for. These little tricks, you've seen them all before. So it's time for something truly extraordinary, don't you think? This one's a little tricky. Using this water tank, I shall make my sister vanish completely, right before your very eyes. It's actually quite simple. She'll just turn into air bubbles and float right out of the top. Oh no! I told them to check all the props carefully. With the lid on, even air can't escape. An amateur magician would be getting very nervous right around now. Luckily, it's me on stage, so let me show you what a true virtuoso can do. Lynette, are you still there? Don't go too far. We don't want to use up all our magic.
Hi, I'm back.
Uh-huh.
If we could see easily through his tricks, then that would mean that his skills are still lacking. To appreciate magic, you should focus on the show happening on stage, rather than getting caught up in trying to see that which has been intentionally hidden.
Guess you're right. Paimon couldn't believe her eyes when Lynette reappeared.
Thank you everyone. I'm glad you enjoyed that performance, but our magical journey has only just begun. I've prepared even more astonishing surprises for everyone here. The magic of transformation and disappearance can go far beyond what you've just seen. I'm sure many of you are thinking that escaping the water tank was impressive enough, but Lynette is still my assistant after all. In which case, I have ample time to make all necessary preparations. So, for my next trick, I will require the participation of one lucky audience member. Please, if my assistants could bring out the magical boxes now. There are 2 boxes and only 2 boxes. One is here and one is there in the aisle among the audience. I'm sure many of our clever audience members have already guessed our next magic trick. A swap! Our lucky audience member and I will each enter a magic box. After 1 minute, we will each emerge from the opposite box. Now please, everyone pay very close attention to the box you see here. Don't give me any chance to make a move.
Wow! How's he gonna do this? Hey, do you think this is all magic tricks, or does Lenny have actual—
The lucky audience member will be generated by this random number selector. It selects numbers entirely at random. Even I don't know who will be chosen to participate. Now then, let's begin. Let me see. Oh, row 7, seat 3. Congratulations! You now have the chance to experience magic firsthand for an entire minute. Please, come forward. My assistant will take you beside the magic box. I'm sorry, it might be a little cramped inside, but no need to feel nervous. We've carefully arranged everything for you to be as comfortable as possible. You don't need to do anything, but no matter what strange things may happen, don't come out of the box. If the magic is interrupted, who knows where you might end up? You might even find yourself in the Fortress of Meropide.
Oh, okay.
All right. Before I enter the magic box, there is one more thing I need to ask the audience to do. Could you all give me a countdown? Like this. 60, 59, 58. Just keep counting down. You can go a little faster or slower if you like. I won't be able to see anything in the pitch black box, so I'll be relying on your voices to know when time is up. Oh, and no tricks now. If you quickly count from 60 in just 30 seconds, then I'll be in a tough spot.
Ooh! Paimon kinda wants to count faster after hearing him say that!
No, that won't do. I can see it in your eyes. You still can't be trusted. Come on, repeat after me. 60, 59, 58.
60, 59, 58!
That's right, perfect. Keep it going. All right, I'll see you all on the other side once...
54, 53, 52? Why aren't you counting, Nervalet?
I am counting in my head. I think things are exciting enough in here as it is. Merely a consequence of my identity and personality. Do not worry about me.
Oh, all right. You look so serious that Paimon thought...
40, 39, 38! Mr. Linney, are you all right in there? Is everything ready?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm just double-checking the direction of the magic. It would be a disaster if we get sent to the wrong places. For example...
Even though he's saying that, Lenny doesn't seem nervous at all. What was that noise? Did you hear it too? Not sure. Anyway, it doesn't...
25! 24! What's wrong, Mr. Linney? I can still hear you moving in there.
I seem to have accidentally knocked over a decoration. I'm trying to fix it, but it's pitch black in here. I can't...
Never mind the decorations. There's no time...
No, that's unacceptable. I want my show to be perfect.
19!
It seems things aren't quite going as planned. It feels like you're all starting to count faster, but that's all right. I know it can be 10 seconds and change is still plenty of...
10!
Almost there now. Swapping two people is harder work than you might think. Even a master magician like me can't guarantee I'll get it right the first time. Hey, wait! Is this the back one? I can't tell. They both look the same inside. Huh? No, that's not it. I'll try again.
7!
Hey, slow down! Honestly!
5! 4! 3!
Whoops! That doesn't count!
0!
Ta-da!
What happened? Is this part of the show? Mr. Linney, you're going to use magic to fix the stage now, right?
What happened?
Oh no. Maybe this isn't part of the show. The girl was still...
This performance is over. Medical staff with me. Guards, secure the scene and detain all the performers. Seal the exits. No one is allowed in or out at this time.
Yes, that's right. If this was just an accident, then we must investigate the cause. But if this was all part of some scheme, then those accountable will not escape the judgment of the God of justice.
No need to be alarmed, you two. We'll get to the bottom of this soon enough. Unfortunately, the person who is in the magic box has been pronounced dead. His name was Cowell, one of the assistants in Linny's magic troupe. Apparently, the fireworks on stage ignited the ropes that were suspending the water tank, which then caused the tank to fall onto the stage. As of now, we are still not sure why we found Cowell in the box, rather than the guest from the audience. And after an initial search of the area, the guards have confirmed that the girl is nowhere to be found. It appears that this incident was not merely some mishap with the performance, and there are many indications that it is connected with the case of the serial disappearances of young women.
The serial disappeared?
That's the case that Charlotte mentioned before.
I know the truth. I can see through the whole thing. I say that our powerful magician, Mr. Linny, is now the prime suspect for the serial disappearances case.
Huh? Why me? This whole thing was an accident.
No, this all occurred during your magic show, did it not? The missing girl disappeared after being chosen, did she not? The deceased is one of your assistants, is he not? Now that I think about it, that whole speech about magicians making things disappear was nothing more than a provocation, a bomb.
That can't be right. How can Linny do this? He was in the box on the stage the entire time. We can even hear his voice. Besides, before the show, he told us that he would like to catch the criminal behind the disappearances. He couldn't possibly mean catching himself.
Save discussion for a later time, please. Lady Farina, may I assume that your comments just now constitute an accusation against Mr. Linny and his associates, and that you are pressing charges?
I just think that I think it might be a little early to talk.
But what Lady Farina said just now makes perfect sense. Looks like she's gonna personally deliver justice.
A kidnapping and murder carried out under the cover of a magic show. Lady Farina's...
Of course, my dear people. But what excites me even more than the obvious truth before our eyes is, that's right, you, traveler. You'll support Linny, won't you? After all, he was the one who helped you the first time we met. Then there's no problem at all. You know, the Traveler and I already had a duel the first time we met. But with Linny's help, our little duel ended in a draw. So, no more draws. Between the two of us, there must be a clear winner and loser. And what better place to hold such a riveting show?
It wasn't a draw.
I understand. Charges have now been pressed, and as such, a trial is in order. Well, traveler, seems Lady Farina has set you in her sights. But putting her dramatic rhetoric aside, are you willing to act as Mr. Linny's attorney? Very well. The trial will be held a day from now in the Opera House. Both sides may investigate the scene to build their cases and search for the Linny and his troupe are all potential suspects, and shall remain. The audience may begin to leave in an orderly fashion once they have been cleared by the guards.
A day isn't that long. Let's see what kind of case this big-shot outlander can build in such a short amount of time.
Linny!
Sorry about everything that happened just now.
Of course! Who wouldn't be scared after witnessing an accident like that?
Yeah, I'm a little shaken up myself. I know you already claimed that you would defend me, but now it's just us talking. Tell me, do you think I understand? Even I'm not sure what happened, so I can only imagine how difficult it is for you to grasp the situation. I'm sure everyone sees me as the biggest suspect at this point. But if you ask me, the whole thing is I don't know whether what happened there on the stage was purely an accident or not. And I don't know why. As for how that girl chosen from the audience could suddenly disappear, I'm afraid I don't have any answers either. Even a skilled and knowledgeable magician like myself couldn't pull all that off in just 1 minute.
Which is precisely why we need to investigate. As this book says, the impossible impossible could not have happened. Whatever happened must have been that which is possible. Paimon bought them when we were reading at the bookshop in the city earlier. Don't worry, Paimon used her own savings to buy them. It wasn't from our travel funds.
I think they look cute on you, Paimon.
You have good taste, Lynette.
That's the right attitude. Feeling depressed isn't going to, but with the guards watching our every move, it's going to be especially difficult for Lynette and I to prove our own innocence. Good thing you agreed to be our attorneys.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, just leave it to us. Oh, since we're going to start investigating, Paimon has a question first.
Oh, well, I'm afraid that would involve some of
the secrets behind our magic are past saving, Linny.
I suppose you're right. The truth behind our tricks is 'tis truly a pity. As a magician, our magic show is a work of art. We've poured countless hours and spared no effort in perfecting it. But if revealing our secrets will help you uncover the truth behind what happened, then it will be well worth it. We should go somewhere else if we're going to discuss our magic tricks. We'll go speak with the guards, and in the meantime, you can go investigate the stage and the seating areas.
All right, let's go have a look while the investigation teams are still here. Detective Paimon is on the case. Hello, officer. How's the investigation going?
Ah, I see. You must be the traveler that Lady Farina mentioned.
Huh? What do you mean?
Come with me and you'll see. The deceased is one of Linny's assistants, named Cal. Even though he hadn't joined the troupe long, he was hardworking and everyone generally liked him. The assistants are usually in charge of setting up and inspecting the props, as well as assisting with the show and keeping the crowd engaged. As you probably saw when you were in the audience, the water tank suddenly fell and smashed the box with Cowl inside it. This is the real mystery. We've already searched the scene and were unable to find any traces of the girl. However, if you look carefully, the box was positioned directly under the water tank. The ropes holding the tank were then burned by the pyrotechnics on stage, causing them to snap. All these factors lining up so perfectly makes it hard to see this as a mere accident. If anything, the more logical explanation is that the whole incident was intentionally planned, and Linny is the most likely person to have access to all these areas.
But he doesn't have a motive.
Are you both good friends of his?
Well, you can't say we're good friends, but we've known each other for...
So in just a short time, he was not only able to win your trust, but even convince you to act as his attorneys. I know there's no such thing as magic. The real trick... I've seen a lot of cases, and I can tell... Sorry, I tend to be pretty straightforward. Just know that I'm warning you for... Anyway, you may investigate the scene of the crime yourselves if you're curious. Who knows?
The investigation team has some new findings. Turns out there's an issue with the random...
See, I told you. What if the machine picked some big guy's seat? You think...
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Linny and Lynette with their side of the investigation.
You're trying to help them?
Lenny used the machine to pick a random member of the audience during his performance, right? Well, we thought there might be a serious problem with the machine, so we had it taken away for further inspection.
It turns out that the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. I'm sure you already know that you have to make a reservation in advance to get a seat, regardless of whether it's a... In other words, Linny knew who would be sitting where from the very beginning.
That much checks out. Linny...
Let you see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Linny.
Even though it's bad for Linny's case...
Hey, you! Yes, both of you! Over here! I've been keeping an eye on...
Huh? You mean us?
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, you're also among those who wish to...
Well, you're right on the moor about that one, but who are you?
Have you never heard of the Spina di Rosula? From mediating disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums, you name it, Spina di Rosula does it, and I, Navia, have the honor of being its renowned president. Though those who play by our rules call me boss.
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
And I'm Melus, Demoiselle's various daily needs and affairs.
Huh? Boss? Demoiselle? What gives with the name?
Well, I am the second generation president. Melus and the others are still used to my previous title.
My apologies, Demoiselle. Should you prefer, boss, I will endeavor to use that instead.
No need. You don't have to call me boss. Just Navia is fine.
Okay, if you say so. Not that we're members of Spina di Rosula anyway.
All merely trifling details. Never mind. Now, back to the situation at hand. That's right. I've always kept an eye on the serial disappearance cases. My interest stems from a matter back from my father's time. Judging from the look of things, I find Linny an unlikely mastermind.
Really? We think so too! That's why, but how did you come to that conclusion?
Intuition, naturally. My unparalleled intuition. Farina sure was quick to point the finger at Linny without any decisive evidence whatsoever. But that's not uncommon for her. If you remember, the justice had to interrupt her and ask if she was pressing charges just to keep her from getting carried away. Anyway, a trial begins the moment someone levels charges. And, of course, there was no way Farina was going to back down in that situation.
Sounds more like you just don't trust the Hydro Archon.
Well, what's your opinion? I must admit that she can be interesting at times. All right, I've answered your question.
Wait a minute, did that...
Well, I say it does. But in your opinion, do you think it's right to treat a trial like it's an opera?
Well...
And why would that be? See,
Most astute of you, Demoiselle. I, too, think that the Traveler's response, no matter how wonderful the script or how fervent the audience's expectations may be, that if that can be done, boss, then...
All right, that's quite enough, Melus. Anyway, Now, I need to make some preparations, following which our...
Wait! Since when did we...
Oh, well, I can be the assistant. Sure. Or...
That's more like it.
Far be it from me to brag, but I believe that you wish to save a friend from false accusations, and we wish to
You have a point. Huh. You're quite the talker, aren't you, mister? And what about you over there? What do you think? You seem like you've got something on...
I have nothing to add.
Oh,
We'll be making some preparations first. Just...
So this is the rope that broke. The rope looks pretty durable. How can it be burned through so quickly by fireworks? Why are you suddenly so serious, Traveler? Whoa. Look! Most of it was burned away, but there's still a little bit of it left. Huh. So if a rope meant to hold something was... Wait! Why would you write all this down? Hello there! What are you...
Oh, this location has also been cordoned off because the Magic Troop members are currently considered prime suspects. The seats were all booked in advance, so we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity, but sure, it's not like this is confidential information. We will publish it later Her name is Halsey. She's a painter from Fontaine who's made a bit of a name for herself. Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the Opera House, but she'd been feeling some pressure with her work lately, which made her decide the Magic Troop members all claim not to know her. We have looked into her social connections. It seems that, simply put, she wasn't related to the Magic Troop at all, which matches the features of the previous serial disappearances.
Were the victims of...
That's how it seems to us, in any case. Apart from the fact that they were all young women of around the same age range, there really weren't any other connections between them.
Okay then.
No need to be so formal. If you do happen to see them, it is of utmost importance that we get to the bottom.
Lenny's still talking to the guards. It seems he'll have a lot of explaining to do. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later, but that's alright.
No one can freely
No! We're not leaving! Were you always guarding this entrance?
Yes! After the Chief Justice gave the order, everyone coming in or out must undergo a strict inspection. So, the missing girl couldn't have left from here. At least, not from that point on. I doubt there was much opportunity then, either.
How can you be so sure,
Well, because I was in charge of security near the entrance at that time. I couldn't see Linny's performance from here, which was quite a shame. Just my luck. But still, I did not abandon my post, and I stayed put no matter how loud the applause was. If someone had so much as even approached the door, I would have noticed it, let alone if they had tried to leave.
We Melusines are good at that sort of thing, you know.
So, it's safe to say the girl couldn't have left through here. Alright, thank you for your help. This'll be used.
I see that you're investigating the area. Well, it just so happens that I'm interested too. If you find any new
We don't have too many thoughts yet.
then why don't I tell you my hypothesis first? The way I see it. It all started with that loud thud.
The thud? Oh, you mean the sound that happened during the countdown?
Yes, exactly. It wasn't terribly loud, but I suspect that most people heard it. It's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Linny's trick with bated breath, so no one paid it much mind. But now that the incident has happened, the thud has become an important clue.
That makes sense.
I'm of the opinion that it may have been the sound of Linny's accomplice. Lynette, perhaps. Jumping atop the water tank, or something like that. And when the pyrotechnics went off, she cut the rope, sending the water tank crashing down.
But wasn't the noise we heard too loud for that?
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a particularly rough land. Oh, that's true.
That does remind Paimon, though. What was with that sound? We've checked everything of note here at the performance venue. Paimon wonders how Linny's discussion with the guards is going.
Understood. Then I will be going with you. Just so you're aware, I will be monitoring your actions and making notes.
Very good. Thanks for being so agreeable. I'd pull a rose out of my hat as a gift for you if I could.
You may spare the pleasantries. I'm just doing my job.
You've arrived. Who's this?
Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. If you've got a problem, I've got the firepower. Sorry, I got a little carried away there. Call me Navia. I'm a partner of theirs, and we'll be helping investigate this whole situation. And these are my companions. Would you mind if they join as well?
Fine by me.
Oh, new helpers? I would be most grateful.
Well, let's just say we're tagging along. It's not every day you get to see the secrets behind magic performed on such a large scale.
I appreciate your kind interest. Come with me. We'll be heading below stage.
Huh? Below stage?
Yes, a world of secrets is hidden beneath this magic box, prepared specifically for this switcheroo trick. But before I reveal everything, you should have a look first. Notice anything strange here? I'm not trying to be dramatic. Remembering the details of a trick will help you understand the methods used to perform it more easily.
Huh. Weren't there balloons and other decorations here?
Ah, good eye. That said, you're still far from discovering the answer.
The back? You mean the inside of it?
Very good indeed. I thought you might not be able to catch that, given that you were sitting in the first row. The back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board. So, if you put 2 and 2 together, what do you get? Exactly. All right, let's...
Oh, so there was a passageway under the magic box!
I I knew you'd figure out most of it as soon as you saw this place. The 2 magic boxes are positioned right above. See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to the other side using the...
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box will face in the right direction.
I see. So that's the purpose of the box inside another box.
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside and be moved along the trolley, all while the outer box would remain on stage as if nothing had ever changed.
So that's how you did it!
Once the box was lowered, the trolley would store some energy through this device here, with which it would complete the rest of the steps. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark.
Right! You were talking that whole time, and you even came out for a...
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by Lynette was used to achieve that effect. My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began, I had already gone to the opposite box via a tunnel using that ladder.
And what about Lynette? Where was she?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the box.
Oh, interesting!
That's how we were able to coordinate Linny's lines with the assistant. And, by the way...
I mean, we are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's who. And that's my favorite part of this trick. Only Lynette and I...
So that's how it all worked! Wow! Every detail you revealed was more amazing than the last!
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in, jumping into the tunnel and escaping before the box on the trolley could finish ascending. And then I walk out of the other box in the audience area. But as you saw, Cal was in the box, not our audience member. She, on the other hand, mysteriously vanished.
We really don't know how that happened.
If not for that interlude, this would have been an astonishing trick. I probably never would have figured out how you pulled it off. And yet, to think that someone was able to use this magic trick. Could we have a look around? I think we can come up with some more leads.
This is the scene of the crime, so Linny and Lynette are not permitted to stay here. I'll escort them.
Yes, of course. No need to be so strict now. I won't disappear into thin air, you...
Thanks, everyone. We're counting on you.
What's this?
Looks like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh?
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick. But why would it have been left here?
Whatever it is, let's make...
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
Oh! Paimon knows! It's one of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and then flip the jug over only for the water. And here's a broken vase! Huh. Did the troll...
That can't be. The trolley moves along tracks from start to finish. It couldn't have hit the vase at this distance.
Let's...
Oh, these are the clothes that the lady took. Her clothes are here, but she's nowhere to be...
Right! And do you really need to do that if you're kidnapping them? Ugh, this is so confusing. Paimon doesn't want to be a detective anymore. is this place?
It seems someone could fit through here.
Huh. Could this have been the suspect's escape route?
Alone, perhaps. But if they had to pull another person with them, the space would be too narrow.
But there are no other ways in or out of here. Oh, you're right! Let Paimon write that down. Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Yes, let's head back up. Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns. Seems to...
Apologies for the wait,
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the vent leads to the Opera House's basement. The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident, and no one was found hiding there.
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then! You know, like the kind you usually see in novels!
The plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance, and... no wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation.
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make some considerable progress.
Charges and then trial. So if the charges are upheld, they'll announce a sentence?
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the Oratrice will hear statements from both sides. That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected on the Oratrice. To put it simply, it's as if the Oratrice has its own will, and is a judge in its own right.
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. Not that this has ever happened anyway.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. Then, finally, the Oratrice will be consulted by officials. The result it returns is the will of justice itself.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides? I'm on that.
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment, which is why people have great faith in the Chief Justice. Yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
Huh? Why?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us persons related to the case.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties, or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case. And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key information about the case ahead of time.
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Whoa! There's no need for that! Paimon thinks they have a point. That said, are they providing food?
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards.
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
Huh. Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all. Just kidding! Paimon will still do her best,
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll...
Huh? Here? But...
Understood, Demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the Demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancies strike.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it.
Please, these three are quite the interesting group. From the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around, but you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself, beating the egg whites,
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Paimon was just thinking, aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, ride horses, and play the piano. Don't underestimate beating egg weights, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need to beat them to just the right consistency, or your macarons. Anyway, give these a try, fresh out of the oven.
Only 3?
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head.
Tea is ready to be served as well. This is no need for concern. I'm merely doing as I should.
All right then, down to business. However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone within it. Some criminal also occupied its sealed confines. The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any logical motive.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was still wearing the same clothes.
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real trouble is...
True. None of the clues we found, but the only people left to consider are both technically victims. Whether it's the missing girl, Halsey...
Huh. Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order...
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need to understand the entire trick, nor does she have any motive. The guards said that she has never had any dealings with the magic troupe's members.
Were we not thorough enough from the sound of things? This is turning into an impossible cake. Your macarons are amazing, though, Navia. They smell...
They are my specialty, after all.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be...
Please don't worry about it. At my age...
No. Being greedy is... Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough. Wait, even you don't believe Paimon? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into stone in her...
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten too engrossed in our chat. Malus, set up the stove again, if you would.
Huh? What are you doing?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons.
Exactly. We don't want to trouble you.
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
Well, this really is your hot...
Well, that's it for snack time. I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. It would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on stage during the trial.
All right, thanks for your help, and for the snack.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything new.
All right, it's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense ready for the trial. Oh, it's probably gonna be over.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened.
Thanks, Navia.
Best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your...
To be honest, you might...
No. We're already very great.
Well, now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation That was to be expected, of course. The guilty, but don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the match. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the...
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is that...
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady...
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact...
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipate...
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that...
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on!
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside.
I was right by the box, and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my... Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord. Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny, why didn't you...
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, first, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true? Please answer my question, Mr.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary?
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is—
Order! Order! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certain. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for.
Well, this is awkward. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Paimon just knew it. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad, not to set the wrong tone or anything. But Paimon...
I'm very sorry. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some deep... The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to. Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, but still, I'm asking you to trust me.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but... Right, let's hear your answer first, and no...
Of course. I'll answer any... We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the...
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room, which should have been impossible, of course, I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you...
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized...
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing...
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay.
Thanks for giving us a
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, huh?
Both parties have returned to their positions. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction.
That took long enough. Now, at this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective. countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out before making her change clothes to prevent. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise. So Linny proceeded to knock him out. Afterward, Linny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowell's death would be ruled. And there you have it. That's the truth behind.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events, what Linny experienced, and what he saw. Seems that... According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering the... Linny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. They... Linny did not take part in the underground
Attention! Aced it! When the countdown started, Linny did indeed go into the... But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete... Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the...
In other words, you believe that...
That's right!
My reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case.
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're part... Well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what... Of course I do. If he had been... You're saying that he wasn't?
Disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Well, to think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Could there have been a third person involved? The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant.
That can't be right.
Oh, is that...
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our... The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the... No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. So where would the crypt... It would have been tough for both... Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So... The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. No one entered or left the No one entered or left... Linny was not in the tunnel at... No one entered or left... The deceased's name is Cowell. The sound we heard may have come... The sound we heard may have come from a... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. It would have been tough for both people to... The sound we heard may have come... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you so...
Look, since we're at a dead end, just like the trick as it transpired, the end result
If only we knew how Halsey...
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3... And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just...
Excuse my interruption.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which... The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing... The deceased's name is The vase was not broken by chance.
Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leave. If there's a similar method...
How could a person ever be transformed into water? Must we really? Magic tricks are ultimately just illusion.
Even so, I trust the truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of... Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings.
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, guards, please step into the lounge and...
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical... We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's back. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluid...
The primordial...
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs. The notebook has many entries concerning safety. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact... support.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolve...
It's something so ridiculous.
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy.
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was just a minute, could that mean...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just...
Order! Order! It is undeniable. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence.
Of course. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case is seemingly
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all. Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that.
The deceased's name is Cowell. The water from the primordial sea. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick. Lynette was in the magic box. The rope that held the water tank up was lit by the fire. I remember there was something else within the water from the primordial... Lynette was in the magic box. Now it seems like the water from the primordial... The rope that held the water Now it seems like the rope that held the water... I remember there was... The water from the primordial...
It's in the original plan. Cowell would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down. Afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more...
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think...
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me. I shall now invite him on stage to...
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just and we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial...
What?
That can't be. Does this not clear up, my dear citizens? My loyal... Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowell then caused... But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to. Ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also be. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a. Am I right?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. Is this the end of the road?
Oh no! Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move. Why did this have to happen now?
I think we've all seen enough now, and we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning. I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move...
Excuse me, everyone, but I'm...
Miss, I must ask you not to shout.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the... What in the world?
No offense, miss, but miracles like...
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirect. Once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous Come on, Linny and Lynette. Give it another go. But as the magic makers and stars of the show...
I understand.
And voila!
Wait, isn't that Halsey?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me. And then
That'll teach you to
Where should I begin?
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy it. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. And I'd never... But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Linny was the one who caught me.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector... He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was on to me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costume. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the The strange... The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but was smashed during... Lillian...
Having been selected out of the blue, her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. Hearing the commotion commotion, Cowl leapt into the tunnel. He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who, mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking Cowl out, and with no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended. She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to...
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel...
Ah, so that...
Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina. Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecute...
What? Are you reading my mind? No, I have no further...
Wow!
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, the actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowl, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowl thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young... He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the... If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowl entered the tunnel and met Lillian, thinking that the waters had not yet taken up. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that while there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated, this case, at least, can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision. As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Great work, partner.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we How did you find the water from the prime...
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a...
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny. I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way...
I was just following. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, therefore you would be wise to tell everything you know.
Yes, our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it.
and now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's...
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Lenny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even, but still. Let me thank you again for defending me to the end. Even after, I guess. But regardless, I'd like the I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take a—
So you went from orphans to nobility just—
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to— But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the street.
It took a while for me to realize just how, after one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no. But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. All I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood. And the Knave.
So, she'd already taken care of—
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement. The Knave, might have seen something in me, and so the House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, I was hesitant to trust her. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken—
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that—
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently— Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water. Everyone at Hotel Bouffe d'été, including the Knave, has their roots in Fontaine. And to us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family—
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis—
It's all right. I understand. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the House, I have never— If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me.
Bye, Lenny!
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Don't you think so, too? Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should...
Ah, I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked, sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navi.
Aw, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know.
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up...
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm if...
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the court of Fontaine and head to the hotel...
All right, then. Let's have our farewell...
I came here several times with my father when I was little. But stop.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't...
In that case, I'll go order for us for...
Ooh, everything looks so good.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good...
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only one dish.
Yeah. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also...
Oh, true.
Huh? Paimon didn't mean that you had to... Speaking of cases, do you think that the master...
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it.
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have...
Right? Yet it was because...
If only that guy could have finished speaking!
In such investigations, even the smallest step, to be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might... It's not that I don't have faith in their... It's easy to guard it, which is exactly why the Spina di Rosul... Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why we exist. To seep into the cracks where filth falls through, where their watch fails them.
Seems Paimon thought things were simpler than they actually are.
It's all right. Well, let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended.
I see. So, your primary... I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina. I suspect...
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular.
Well...
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you.
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play.
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan...
All right, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then, I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything.
That might work, but that's not...
Valid point. All right, no, you did defeat her in court. clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld personally.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refute? Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know.
Huh?
Was this your drink?
No, it's fine.
Alright. Honestly,
Is that so? If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're stuffed. Thanks for the treat, Navia. Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore. Nah, that would be so...
Okay.
Hey, Navia, what are you...
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing this...
Let's get ready to try to...
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, in any case, I wish...
See ya!